This is a guy that we have to continue to give plaudits to, and I certainly think if he keeps this up both for Barcelona, if he delivers a trophy, whether it be La Liga, whether it be Champions League, and if he keeps it up for Brazil, we have to consider this guy as the front runner if he does all those things for the Ballon d'Or.
It's almost hard to remember that Barcelona had actually been struggling in La Liga play because they've had so many other competitions here of late in which they've gotten victories. But they find themselves down by 7 points in the La Liga table right now. So they've got work to do to try to catch up to Real Madrid. Let's bring in Michael Lahoud. And this is a situation in Barcelona. Mr. Lahoud, we wondered after that wacky game in European play in the middle of the week, would they have the energy to come back out and deliver the way they needed to back up what Real Madrid did yesterday? The answer was an unequivocal yes today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see it on just the body language of Hansi Flick. And when I look at Barcelona, I always look at Hansi Flick because he's the architect of this whole new rebuild. Let's not forget, this was a side that a lot of the similar faces were back from last year under Xavi, and he just rejinked and retooled what Xavi was doing, and now the prolific goal scoring is coming to full effect. They are now an elite company. They scored 100 goals, fellas, in just 32 matches in all competitions, the second fastest manager to do so. So it shows the intent, and they played with a killer instinct today.
Ballon d'Or is something that's certainly becoming on the minds of many, especially if you're a Barcelona fan, Michael. When you talk about Raphinha, you take a look at some of the numbers that he's had this season, right? I'm going to go through a litany of them. 23 goals in all competitions this season. Mentioned he's got 6 in the last 4 matches. More so, he's got 32 goal contributions in all competitions that in this season. That is the most by any La Liga player this season. When you think of Ballon d'Or, where do you put him in terms of the conversation based on those numbers we've talked about?
All right, Liverpool fans, cover your ears because I know you're not going to like this. I actually put him neck and neck with Mohamed Salah. That's right, I said it. The best player on the planet, according to Premier League fans, is not just by himself. It is a neck and neck sparring for the Ballon d'Or race right now. And when you look at what Raphinha is doing, it's not just the numbers. Take that aside. When I look at the best players in the world, big players, they always show up in big matches. And this guy is doing it both for club and for country. Peel back and let's go under the hood. You see what he did against Benfica. Need a match winner? He delivers with a brace. You go back to the Champions League. Borussia Dortmund, they're not playing as well. He delivers with a goal that kickstarts a comeback. And then I just love it when players do it against the biggest clubs in the world. Bayern Munich, he scores a hat trick. He's got 3 goals against Barcelona's eternal rivals in all competitions against Madrid. This is a guy that we have to continue to give plaudits to, and I certainly think if he keeps this up both for Barcelona, if he delivers a trophy, whether it be La Liga, whether it be Champions League, and if he keeps it up for Brazil, we have to consider this guy as the front runner if he does all those things for the Ballon d'Or.
Those are big ifs, Mr. Lahoud. You're talking about winning because, look, you're right. He's delivering in the biggest moments for this team right now. But let's not forget about the fact that this Barcelona side have shown some cracks. I mean, that match was a great one against Benfica, but they gave up 4 goals. They've dropped some matches in the course of La Liga play as well. That Ballon d'Or race is going to come down to who wins, doesn't it? And the question for me is, does this Barcelona side have enough, particularly with all those young players and consistency, to win some of those trophies they would need to win for him to get that Ballon d'Or?
I think it's going to come down to whether Hansi Flick is going to have to balance whether he continues with this high line. Look, a high line is a high line, and it's been successful against the likes of Real Madrid. But there are going to be sides, and we've already seen it as of late, the minnows who sit back and then punch him in the mouth on the counter. The difference, though, on a day like today is the fact that it wasn't just a Robert Lewandowski who was on the bench that started the led team. It wasn't just Lamine Yamal who were the stars. It was the fact that you have Fermín López who came to play today, Ferran Torres who came to play. They're a side that, as long as they continue to outscore teams, Hansi Flick, he's got the pedal to the metal. That is his DNA for success this season. But in the back, though, you have to consider one player that wasn't available for a large part of this season, Ronald Araujo. He is the one player that I think, Pau Cubarsí is an excellent passer, but the health of Araujo is so important for them to win any single trophy this campaign because he's got the individual pace to recover. He's got the experience. When you talk about young players, he is the elder statement. He's got leadership at the back. And I think as he really goes, this side will go in all the big matches remaining this calendar year.
Michael, Nate, we had the joke going on before the show about how Flick perhaps might not only be the manager of Barcelona, but the daycare manager of Barcelona. Just based on the youth, you see the changes that we saw in terms of the starting 11 for Barcelona. And a very noteworthy stat to keep in mind, Michael, is the fact that the first 4 goals that were assisted by 4 players that were 21 or younger. What does that say about this young core group building in and taking in this philosophy that Flick has instituted?
Well, it's getting a club that was always the club of the youth, a club that Johan Cruyff, the great late Johan Cruyff, really changed and was the architect of La Masia, and now we're seeing it come back to full fruition. Go back to when Barcelona were the giants of world football. We're talking about the greatest football team ever to grace planet Earth. A majority of those players were from La Masia. It is the greatest football academy up there with the likes of Ajax. I think it's the greatest football academy right now on planet Earth. And you see it when you talk about wingers. Lamine Yamal, this kid is a generational talent. But to have winners in this team, I'm talking about Fermín López. This guy is a young-born winner. He won at the Olympics. He carried the team, one of the key players for the Spanish under-23 Olympic team, to gold. It's good to see players like that. Fermín López was the star today. The likes of, on a personal note as well, Ferran Torres getting goals against his former club. The Valencia Academy product was a nice little notch on their belt. But Fermín López, man, this kid is a baller, and he had the magic wand today. Hansi Flick, if he's going to get the best out of this side, you got a 36-year-old Robert Lewandowski. You got to be able to rest him. You have players like Gavi who have struggled with injury throughout their career as of late. You have Pedri who keeps playing football matches. So you got to rest those 3 main protagonists. And to have the supporting cast step up in the way they did today was excelente.
Lahoud, you know, I'm sitting here as a Polish American thinking about an old Polish striker and an old Polish goalkeeper surrounded by teenagers. Brick might be able to identify with this. You're not there yet. When you have teenagers in your house and you go knock on the door in the morning, you have no idea what child, what human being is going to answer when they wake up. It could be the best thing in the world. It could be the greatest day in the world, like today for Barcelona, or it could be you're the worst human being in the world for having the audacity to knock on my door. And my question to you with that is this. We've seen them when they're at their highest, they can go knock off Real Madrid. But is that consistency of winning game after game through the slog of La Liga or through the slog of this new Champions League format with those young players and the highs and lows that come with it? Even Hansi Flick, can they really win a trophy with that type of, that type of roller coaster ride that teenagers bring along with them?
Look, I'm going to say this for the 99th time in the last 2, maybe 3 weeks. La Liga, it's not over yet. All the Madrid fans who are ready to just crown them champions, it is not over yet. You never win a La Liga trophy in January. You can certainly lose it. For Barcelona to respond the way they did today, it was a statement to say, we are going to keep doing our thing, and we're going to wait for you to slip up. I still believe this side is good enough to win 1 trophy this season. Ian Joy asked me this question. What would success look like for Hansi Flick? I said that to deliver a trophy in his first season, it is mandatory. It's not a should he do it? Could he do it? He has to do it to keep off some of the pressure that we're all going to be asking him in season 2. Offensively, they are one of the juggernauts of world football. I just want to see if they can keep key players like Pedri, key young players like Lamine Yamal, and key players like Raphinha alongside Lewandowski healthy for the remainder of the season. If they do that, we've already seen the impact of when Lamine Yamal is not there. Those matches, a majority of them that they didn't get results, he was nowhere to be found, injury woes, and you saw them be more predictable. That front 3, you keep them healthy, you get the supporting cast scoring goals. I don't care who you are, you got a lot of problems coming your way in Barcelona colors.